right, guys, we got another good one for you today. We got some familiar faces and some new faces here. So, hey, look who's here. Boys from Othello are here again. And you remember last time they brought a bunch of cars? Well, look, they got trailers and cars and cars and cars. So, got all kinds of good stuff going today. So, I'm really excited to get these guys going. Congratulations on your 10-second pass, sir.
Thank you.
Did really good. He had the drag RS that you guys saw in that video, and he ran a 10.8 like 3 or 4 times in a row, right? Very consistent. He's trying to get down a little better. He was getting some traction issues, but his car's still ripping good. His car, you remember his, was a stock motor, full send. It catastrophically blew up, unfortunately. But we kind of all knew that it was, it is what it is. We were pushing that thing really freaking hard. So that's just the name of the game, though. But today, we're going to try to not do any of that. Hopefully it gets some...
We did get a whole new motor in that very next day, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's running right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's running again with the new motor.
It's still active. Whatever breaks first, you're still in it. So,
so
we're about
yeah,
$500.
And that motor that was in it, too, from what I was told, was pieced together by a bunch of different random parts. So who knows, about that thing. But... yeah, hopefully today goes real smooth and we don't have a ton of issues because I got a lot of work to do. So I got my work cut out for me. So I better get started. We're going to get these unloaded, get them loaded up, and start going. Let's go. All right, so we're going to do a cold start for the boys, as Josh would say. I just stole his lingo.
All right, fire it up.
That's pretty rowdy. Sounds like a rally car almost. It's a little rich. We just need to adjust a little bit.
The dude loves it though.
Yeah, I mean.
We do too.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so this is the first one we're gonna do. This is an FA20 and they got a lot of good stuff done to this. However, we were just talking here about your guys' plan with this and you want to do E85 and you want to do pump gas. Well, I'm going to educate you guys a little bit. So these FAs, we can't put full 85% ethanol in these. And the reason why is because the injection pump on these cars is not capable of dealing with that much ethanol over time. And it will make the pump actually fail. The seals will start to fail. Fuel pressure will drop. So usually what we have to do with these is we run about 30 to 35% ethanol content for our ethanol flex fuel tune. And then anything above that, I set the check engine light to come on and go into fail-safe so that nobody runs too much ethanol in them and has this issue. So it's because it's not port injection. So all the WRXs, other years, and the STIs, they all run port injection. So we don't have these limitations. We can run as much as we have injector. So basically the thing we do with these FAs is the ethanol base tune that I put in there, the E30 or 35%, you're gonna have to make sure that it's at that if you don't have the flex sensor. And without that, it's really hard.
You either gotta test it, you can't really guess.
Right. So, I mean, you could do the math, I guess, but it's not really a good idea because you don't really know. Right, so that's why the Cobb makes a flex fuel kit. That is the way to go for these. And that's just, what I've found with these cars. So generally, we don't get a ton more horsepower out of the ethanol tunes on these, but we get a lot more torque. So we get really good torque gains. We get a little bump in power. We definitely get knock suppression, which is what these cars need the most. Yeah. So it is beneficial, but it's not like the STI where you see, gigantic horsepower increase and torque as well. It's just a little different.
It's a safer race day.
Right. So, and these turbos are very small. So the turbos on these cars are really, really small, which gives you instant spool and high torque, but not a lot of horsepower. So that's the downside of the turbo setup. So development is happening with these cars every day though. Turbo kits are coming out, all kinds of exciting stuff's happening. So eventually these will get to where the STIs are right now. It's just going to take time. Like any new platform, takes time, takes people that are willing to push it and willing to go that route before it gets figured out. So that being said, you don't have a flex sensor in the car, so I would advise you just to do pump gas today on that car.
I think we're gonna do that. Stick to pump gas.
That way your customer doesn't have to worry.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot for a customer to do to have to measure the ethanol themselves.
And even for us, I mean, if we're running full 85, we're on full 85. We've never mixed it.
Yeah.
And then the cars that do are running sensors.
Right. So, all right, well, we're going to get this one on the dyno. Just want to tell you guys a little bit about that situation right there. I get this a lot with people at the FAs that come to me for ethanol-based tunes. And there might be other tuners out there that say, you know, you can run more. But this is my personal experience, what I've seen with these cars. And I've had firsthand experience with injection pump failures because of too much ethanol. So, as you guys all know, I always err on the edge of safety. And that's the way I like to tune customers' cars. This ain't Bader's car. So, Bader's not here. I don't see him anywhere. So when Josh Bader's not here, we try to keep things safe and make it last. That's the key. So his FA that I did, that's a different situation, but he knows the risks, and yeah, he pushes stuff, you know, really hard. So anyways, let's get this on the dyno and get started.
Can he take off and then switch his intake? Or should we actually have another parent intake here, another car? We're thinking about throwing that one on, but if it doesn't matter, run it with this intake and then change it out when we get to the house. Or?
So the only thing about the intake is are we doing MAF or speed density?
MAF.
So if we're doing MAF, it has to run the same exact intake it's tuned with. Because if we change that, it'll throw all my scaling off for the fuel ratio.
So
if you have whatever intake I tune the car with, it has to be on.
Okay.
So it has to stay that way.
So, but if we do put like a parent intake, we can swap it out for another one, right?
Another parent?
Like say.
As long as it's the same brand and same model.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's used or not, as long as it's the same diameter pipe, same intake. That's like, say you have a parent short ram from another car, you put it on there, we tune it, and then you go home and you put a different pair and short ram on it. If it's the same one, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, if we were to pretty much, because obviously the parent intake belongs on another car. If we were to use it to get the tune on and then throw the intake that he has currently on.
Yeah.
So long as he stays at a boost, he can drive it home and change it at home.
Yeah, as long as it's within, like, as long as the intake is not dramatically different, because it can throw the air fuel ratio off and set fuel trim codes on the way home and weird things like that.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the different ones that are like big, big and reduced.
It all depends on just the flow through the pipe. Intakes are very sensitive. The bends in the pipe, the size of the pipe, all that makes a difference. Yeah. I would say keep the sensors to their vehicles, though. Don't mess, because that, you know how they can get skewed, and it's really hard to figure that out. So I would say keep the sensors to their vehicles where they came from, but swapping the intakes, I wouldn't be too worried unless it was a big MAF. That would be a big problem.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And depending on the car, like the 08 Plus cars, the Cobb SFs are actually mini big MAFs. Most people don't know that. So 08 Plus cars with the Cobb SF, those intakes versus stock, totally different scaling, like a lot. They're about 15% off.
Oh, wow.
So on the older cars, the SFs were not as big a deal. So
okay.
But yeah. Well, we're going to get the next one on. The FA's done, and I think these guys are going to test drive it to go see how it feels. So this is the next one right here that we're going to get on here. And they're going to go test drive that baby and see how she rips. This one's real low. Whew, she's really low. Yeah, I'd say the front bumper is going to have to come off on this one. Oh, sounds good. All right, so we got this one on the dyno, and they wanted to do a base pull with the tune that was on it just to see where the car's at. So I did a base pull on it. I had to abort the pull because it didn't feel good to me, but this was a base pull. You can see the air fuel ratio just dives straight down into the 10s, gets really rich right away, which is too rich. And then if we look at the power graph here, the car felt like it was shuddering a little bit when I was getting into boost, so I didn't really want to stay in it, but show you, if I can pull this up, you can see power's coming up and then it dropped. So it's obviously pulling timing and the car's not happy. So that's the base pull that you wanted. Now I'm gonna retune the car from scratch and then see if we can do better and get this thing running right.
To come to the booth, party all night, we get all the juice. I took a couple shots, then my screws loose. And it's a 90s party, we gon' raise the roof. To all the bad girls to come to the booth. We gon' party like it's 99. And know with all the slimes like me, and we hit like big. And I'm looking real slick, all black with the big. Wearing Gucci like I'm big, put me down to the kicks, bust down on the wrist. La mama pressing down on the stick like a PS5. And we been taking flight, we got red eyes. And we ain't on the ground, but we going live. Party all night, we got all the juice. I took a couple shots, then my screws loose. And it's a 90s party, we gon' raise the roof. To all the bad girls to come to the booth. Party all night, we got all the juice. I took a couple shots, then my screws loose. And it's a 90s party, we gon' raise the roof. To all the bad girls to come to the booth. Yeah, I'm dead to the booth. Cause I've been on the juice like I'm Machiavelli. And I just took a shot, and I drank it off the belly. She wanna see the belly, I'ma tell you.
All right, so got my map on the WRX. Pretty dramatic difference from where we started. We picked up, what, almost 100?
Yeah.
So nice and smooth power curve all the way out to redline. 223, good power, TD04. That's exactly what it should make. So Everything on the car looks good. Hopefully you're happy with it, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think you'll notice a big difference when you drive it. All right, well, on to the next one. We still got a whole bunch to do, so let's get this off and move on. All right, so the WX I just tuned, he said he's been sending it for a long time to his buddies, and it's been fast. So he just took the first test drive, so let's see what he thinks.
Wow, man. Speechless, man. Shout out to Steve. Go to him. He's the man.
I had a feeling you were going to be impressed when I saw the base pull. I was like, if you've been driving it like this for a while and you liked it, then
Dude,
that made my job.
I'm speechless, man.
I'm just going to say it made my job really easy because of how bad it was. So.
Oh yeah, I like it. I love it. I'm in love, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Glad I could help you out with that.
Thank you, yeah.
All right, well, we got a Forester on the dyno. I know you guys love them Foresters because every time I got a Forester in my video, the views go way up. So here's another Forester. This one's an automatic. It's got 20G. It's got bigger injectors, fuel pump. I think we're going to do E85 on it too. This guy wants to send it on this auto, so get this thing strapped down and see what she'll do. Yeah, I mean, this being an automatic, you lose a big percentage through the torque converter between the wheels. So basically, like a good example is my car, my Forester, when I had an automatic in it, I had a Blausdamm 3.0 XTR turbo. It's a very, very common turbo in the Subaru world. We all have tuned them in the tuning world. And at 26 pounds, I was only making 336 on this dyno. However, on a manual transmission car, everybody knows that's 400 all day. Easy. So that's why when I was out on the street, it felt so fast because it was still putting down good power, but you do lose a lot through the torque converter that it can read on the dyno. But the advantage is with an automatic is when it shifts, you don't lose boost. So it makes up for that little bit lower output. You're staying in boost the whole time versus a manual transmission where when you shift, you got to re-spool the turbo every time. So it's kind of evens out, if you know what I mean. So we just got about, what was it, 296 is where we were at just now. 297 on pump gas, keeping it safe because it's stock motor. But now we're going to put the 85 in it, and we're going to see if the transmission can hang. Because when the ethanol's in there, we're not worried about the motor anymore. So we'll see if the transmission can hang. I also was a little easy on it. I did some tricks in my tuning where I pulled the throttle plate back right before the shift. So that should make this transmission last as long as possible. But yeah, so we're gonna get the ethanol in there and then we're gonna turn it up. All right, E85 Ripper. See you guys over here smiling when she was getting on it. She did pretty good.
Screamer.
332, 308. It's pretty good power. It's at 18 PSI and we just don't have any more injector. We got Cobb 750s. I mean,
we didn't think we need more, but
yeah,
really.
Yeah, you need more. So the air fuel ratio is as safe as it can be. I'll pull it up here and show you what we're dealing with here. Let me save this file. It's gonna be a fun car. You're gonna like it with the auto. So as you can see, air fuel ratio starts to kind of get out of hand up top. We're staying nice and rich in the 11s here, and then we just start going up. So injectors right here are just maxing out. So what I ended up doing is I dumped a lot of fuel here so that I could catch it a little better as it goes up. But right at redline, we're at like 12.5. So I mean, on E85, that's not that bad. It'll live. It's not ideal, but it's right there at the last little bit. So it's only going to hit that, it's only going to lean out there for a very short period of time when it goes to shift. So I think you'll be okay. But I wouldn't do any, top speed runs or anything. I mean, I'd probably stay away from that, but I'd be okay with it getting on it to about 110 and then letting out. Should be okay. Yeah, E85 does wonders. What can I say? So it was night and day from pump gas to E85. So we got this one all done. Now, on to the next one. All right, next one. Let's go. All right, well, they're going to go take the Forester for a little rip, and then we're going to get a little feedback on that one. And what's next?
Black WRX and then the diesel truck.
All right. Black WRX. Keys are in it?
I have it right here.
Sweet.
There you are.
All right. These guys are about to go full send. Oh yeah, he's already getting ready.
Top mount intercooler, stock TD04. We had a DS39, we had a wastegate issue with
Okay.
external, so we went back to internal from the TD04. We just
All right.
want to cap out the turbo or make.
Okay. So TD04 on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it'll do 300, but
It's a stretch.
that's a stretch. Oh well. All right, well, I'm going to do my best. They want to send this little TD04. They got a big intercooler, which is going to definitely be needed, and bigger injectors, which is good. So we'll see what I can do. Maybe I can pull a rabbit out of the hat today.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right, well, they just came back from a rip in the Forester. Look at the smiles. Look at the smiles. You always know because everybody's smiling. It's either going to be good or bad. So what do you think?
Amazing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, way better than I expected for an automatic.
All right.
He's even shouting.
Yeah, you look at the shirt right there. There's all you got to say right there. All right, well, I'm glad you enjoy it. And hopefully, it gives you some trouble-free miles and you have a good time with it.
Definitely gonna
So
figure out.
you need to do some bigger injectors, though. Definitely would benefit from that in the future. So I'd like to see that with some bigger injectors to make me feel better. Because, I lose a little bit of sleep at night sometimes over certain things, but...
When it's Black Friday.
All right. Well, we got this one strapped down. Let's start going on this one. All right, finally got this one figured out. It ended up being a bad mass airflow sensor with some TGV issues. We got it all sorted. Made about 246 to the wheels was the high number at 17 pounds all in, everything it had. So the car did really good. So hopefully you're happy with that. Everybody seemed like they were pretty stoked. He's back there kind of sulking a little bit because we beat him by a little bit. But hey, it's so close. You're not going to notice. He's going to come back, but that STI intercooler, that's what did it right there. So he's got you on that. But anyways, everything went good today. Relatively smooth. We didn't really have any problems really. All the cars did really well this time. I think we learned a lot last time because you guys, like, today was great. We had no issues.
It's not 9:30.
No, no, it's not. So it's always a pleasure having you guys come out. You know, I really enjoy working on your stuff, and it's always good times. So we'll
coming out here too.
we'll have to do more and
more before Renegades.
all right, sounds good. Well, until next time, guys, we'll see you later.